Welcome to this new video on Forza Horizon 6, where I'm going to show you a bit of gameplay. With the new Porsche Lakebow, a new free car that you can unlock in Forza Horizon 6. In Season 2, it's available for 80 points all season. So, either you use the slower method to unlock it, earning 20 points per week and after 4 weeks you get it, or you are. For me, you've already done part of the season, especially the first week when you scored over 40 points. In those cases, you can unlock it as early as the second week and start enjoying it. This car is new to Forza Horizon and hasn't appeared in any previous franchise games. However, we've already had it in Forza Motorsport games. It was a car that was very fast once it was well upgraded and tuned, so I hope it'll be the same in Horizon 6. What's pretty cool about this car is its history and its philosophy. Because back in the 90s, Porsche saw the competing manufacturers like Ferrari, Jaguar, or Lamborghini were starting to offer cars that were really ultra fast. You could say it was kind of the beginning of hypercars. And rather than doing what they did and releasing an overpowered Porsche just to make it really super fast, they said, well, for this car, instead of following everyone and focusing on a super powerful engine, we're going to keep the regular engine from a Porsche Turbo S and instead focus on making the car lighter. And that resulted in a car that is indeed very rare and very high performing, which is this Lakebow version of the Turbo S, Leichtbau. If I'm not mistaken, even though I probably pronounced it pretty badly, it's German. It means, if I'm not talking nonsense, lightweight or light, right? Indeed, Turbo S lightweight. Actually, in the end, we have a car that makes 380 horsepower for 1,100 kilos, so it's really very light for the power it puts out. And so, we have a car that was capable of doing 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds and hitting 310 kilometers per hour, which in the 90s was monstrous. Actually, there wasn't much that could compete. At least in that power range, it was really kind of unique. So, it's a car that's a bit weird to drive. Honestly, let's not hide it. It's an old Porsche, so obviously it's a car that can be a bit of a headache. It's a car that doesn't have crazy aerodynamic downforce. It's a car that doesn't have the best, most modern brakes either. Compared to what we have, let's say the really modern cars in Forza Horizon 6. And it's a car that leans a bit in corners too. It has a kind of weird feeling because it's light, but at the same time, well, it leans a bit in corners without it being too noticeable. So you can end up, well, simply having to straighten the car a bit suddenly when coming out of a turn, which isn't always easy to control. So, in my opinion, it's going to be a beast. I think we're going to have a really extreme car. I think we're going to have a ride that's going to be incredible in terms of performance, but at the same time, it's also going to be pretty hard to handle. So I'm going to try to give you a little acceleration before we go back to the garage to take a closer look at it. That was the time when we still used really long gearboxes, and we knew the cars had enough torque to handle it. Yeah, in just a few seconds here, we're already at 250. So the car, in terms of performance, it really delivers. That's it, simply. If you're just starting out driving in Forza Horizon 6, even if you love this car for its looks and for its philosophy, I wouldn't make it your first choice since there are much easier cars to drive in the game. It might even discourage you from using a wheel. So, let me show it to you a bit more closely. It's true that, aesthetically, it looks like a regular Turbo S. Anyway, from the outside, I don't think there are any really specific features on the exterior. For this Lakebow, except maybe the little decorations that are at the bottom of the doors, but otherwise it's really a normal Porsche. On the other hand, inside, you can see there's not much left. Actually, you can even see the seats. They're ultra thin in the back. It's ultra simplified to save as much weight as possible. And there aren't even any headrests for the passengers in the back, so really, they actually looked for it, but are those really seats in the back? I feel like there are still two seat shapes. I don't see any seatbelt holes, so maybe seatbelt rules were different in the 90s, I'm not sure. Anyway, you can see inside that it's super simple. There's nothing. Actually, there's nothing or not much compared to now. And even the doors, look, the doors are completely flat, not even any handles to open them. They're kind of little, fabric straps that let you release and open them to save weight. So really, they made this thing to be as lightweight as possible. It's actually pretty cool. Now let's go customize it and see if there are any specific changes. I haven't checked yet, so it'll be a discovery. There's no body kit, but there is. Yeah, there is. But there is a swap. And there must be some pretty powerful engines in there. I don't really know where the engines come from, so we'll probably be able to make something really powerful out of it. So, if the stock engine isn't enough to make it all-wheel drive, do we have any cosmetic parts? That's when it loses all its aura. It feels weird, huh? I know there are people who really like this kind of shape on a Porsche. There's a package, right? There's a name for this package, but I don't remember what it is. If you know it, tell me. Tell me in the comments. Honestly, I'll stick with the basic aero because the others look really weird. For the rear, we can add a small spoiler below the main spoiler since the car handles oddly. But listen, let's go. We'll see how it drives now that it's upgraded. Maxed out. Wow. Without a swap, yeah, it's gonna be tough to drive. So here we have a car that makes 700 and something horsepower, which is in the S2 category, which is still rear-wheel drive, which still weighs 1,100 kilos. This car doesn't have major weight reductions in the upgrades. Wow. But thanks to the AI though, damn, it's actually fine. But what are the AIs doing? It's horrible right now. What's going on? I don't know. So apparently there's an AI update that just came out. Maybe it's better for some things and worse for others. But that Porsche really seems pissed off to me. It's hard to drive. The starts are complicated because it's a super powerful rear-wheel drive, so obviously it's tough. But once it's going, it sticks to the road like crazy. I feel like we're going to have a blast. I think what's going to be complicated, yeah, is actually managing the AIs. That's going to be it, yeah. Tight corners like that aren't its strong point, but on the other hand, you've got the power the engine has, and it performs, you know. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. And just so you know, the car has 700 horsepower, so that's a lot. But what are they doing? The AIs, there's a problem with the AIs. I don't know, let me know in the comments. I feel like the AIs are... I feel like, you know, I'm playing multiplayer with desynchronized AIs that try to avoid me, but they avoid me too late. So actually, they end up crashing into me. It's a bit of a shame because aside from that, it's actually a real pleasure to drive. The Porsche is a bit tricky, as you saw, if you accelerate a bit too hard coming out of a corner. It's really, really fast. What I recommend you do with this car, if you upgrade it, is to put the Forza kit on the front and back so you can adjust it. And I advise you not to add too much rear downforce. This car already has most of the weight at the back, so the front end will lift. When you accelerate too hard, so put downforce on the front, don't touch the rear too much, lower the car as much as possible, put slick tires on it, and don't use a gearbox that's too long either. Even with 700 horsepower, the car isn't built for extreme top speed. So, if you do that with a lot of downforce on the front of the car, without messing too much with the rear settings, normally you'll have a car that won't have any major flaws. I'm messing up, but it's my fault, not the car's. If you do that, normally you'll have a car that's much easier to drive through corners. Honestly, it's a pleasure. Well, if you really want to have the maximum power, you need to put in the swap, which is all the way at the bottom of the list, all the way at the bottom left. A flat 6 engine from Porsche with 3.8 liters of displacement, but in my opinion, it's a more modern engine that we have here. And you can get basically 1,127 horsepower for 1,100 kilos. Once the car is fully optimized and we're in the R category, I'll show you its performance. You have to improve it like that, just like that. By the way, let me remind you that if you enjoyed this video, you can show it by leaving a like and subscribing for the next ones. Don't forget that Horizon 6 is cheaper through my instant gaming link that you can find below this video. That way, you can save money on buying the game and save 40 bucks on the premium version. And don't forget to come follow me on Twitch for the next live streams I'm going to do. I stream every week or at least twice a week. We'll do a Forza live in multiplayer, so feel free to come follow. And after liking, the links will obviously be in the comments, and lots of other stuff. Alright, let's get started. With this swap, we're going to get the top speed it's supposed to reach, given the power and the fact that these engines are generally good for top speed. I think a modest 440 kilometers per hour seems doable. However, it doesn't make an incredible sound. I wonder if the exhaust is bugged on this car, because no matter what engine I put in, the short exhaust always gave me the same sound as the exhaust. Let's say stock. So I think there might be a little audio bug, it's possible. At 440 it should be doable, right? We already have 430, that's not bad. Maybe 440 we should be able to hit it by shortening the gearing a little bit. But that's enough. I think if the straight line was a bit infinite, we'd get there. So there you go, little Lakebow. I highly recommend unlocking it. It's likely a great car. With a few tweaks and upgrades, it becomes excellent. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.